Welcome to Kharis tutorials. I'm Simeon Grace. I'll be showing you this beautiful blouse in this tutorial. The measurements we'll be needing are the underbust, the half length and full length of the blouse, the shoulder measurements, the round shoulder measurements, bust circumference, under bust circumference, the sleeve and the round sleeve measurements. Don't forget we upload our cutting and sewing tutorial separately. So if you're watching the cutting, there's need to watch the sewing, and if you're watching the sewing, there's need for you to watch the cutting tutorial. And if this is your first time on this channel, kindly click the subscribe button. Click on the bell to get notified for our upcoming videos. Let's move on. Okay, first I'll be working on the half length, and this is the front. To fold my fabric first, I'll be using the bust measurement of 34 inches plus 8 divided by 4. Still the same as your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches, and that is going to give me 10.5 inches. Now it's a princess that bustier, so I'll add 2 inches to that. I have 12.5 inches, so I folded my 12.5 inches. So like I said, it's an off shoulder blouse, so because of that I'm going to subtract 5 inches. Normally 4 inches is fine for an off shoulder, but I'll be using 5 inches, so minus 5 inches. The half length is 15 inches, so here I have 15.5. I have 0.5 seam allowance. I have my 8.5 inches for the armhole cuts. You can use 9 inches or 9.5 depending on your size. That's if you have a bigger size. And the underbust measurement is 12. That's from the shoulder to the underbust is 12 inches. I have 12.5 inches. That's 0.5 inch for my seam allowance. The next thing I'm going to measure is the shoulder. Shoulder divided by 2 is 6.5 inches. Shoulder divided by 2 is 6.5 inches. Remember, we added 2 inches to our fabric, so that will give us 8.5 inches normally. This is my 8.5 inches, but I'm going to subtract 1.5 inches from the, since it's an off shoulder blouse, so I'll subtract 1.5 inches. Now we can just go ahead to do it this way. I've folded my fabric. I've gotten my normal minus 5, 8.5 for armhole. This is my 12 inches for the underbust measurement, and the 15 inches for the half length. It's my seam allowance. Now the 2 inches extra that we added, I'll just go ahead and hide it first. Those are 2 inches extra that we added to the fabric. All right, so let's just hide that first, then we can go ahead with our measurements. Shoulder divided by 2, I have 6.5 inches, and since it's an off shoulder blouse, minus 1.5 inch, so this is my 1.5 inches. The bust measurement, like I said, plus 8 divided by 4 is 10.5 inches, so this is my 10.5 inches. The underbust circumference measurement will be taken below the underbust measurements. That's 28 plus 8 divided by 4, and that is 9 inches. So I have my 9 inches. The next thing is to connect this either with your cuff set or without it. You can just connect your measurements. That's it, from the underbust to the bust. And if you have your cuff set, that's, you can just go ahead and use that. You're still going to get the same thing. And then the armhole, so it's coming from the bust to this very measurement. You know, we subtracted 1.5 inches, so from your 1.5 you mark it out to the armhole, just like this. You can go ahead to use your cuff set in case you cannot bring it out properly with your free hand. You can just do that. So I've sketched out the front. This is the half length. I'm going to cut this out first. Okay, okay, so I'll unfold my 2 inches, and since the back is going to have a zipper allowance, I'll just place whatever I've cut. Now I've unfolded the 2 inches, so whatever I've cut, I'll just place it to cut out the back, so together with my zipper allowance. So I'm going to cut out exactly what I have here. Alright, so let's work on this. The back I need to slit, and the next thing I'm going to do is to bring out the neck design, not on the front, it's going to be on the back first. The depth can always be to your choice, desired measurement, and the shape of the neck design you want can also be to your desired shape. So the depth I'm going to measure here is 8 inches. Remember your -5 is very, very important. So this is 8 inches. That's what I want, and I want something like just a round shape. So just in case you want a square shape, you can just go ahead with your square shape, or probably a V shape, or just go ahead to cut out any design of your choice. So whichever shape you decide to cut, you can just go ahead to cut that. The back is done. Now remember we added 2 inches, so I need to first hide the 2 inches. This is my 2 inches extra. Now on the front, first I'm going to measure out my princess dart. To take out the princess dart first, I've unfolded my 2 inches. So for this measurement, I'm going to maintain 3.5 inches. So you can use 4 or 4.5. This is my normal dart measurement, and I'll add half an inch to it, so that will be my seam allowance. So I'll measure out 4 inches. Now this is the armhole. Remember we subtracted 5 inches, so it's still going to come from the 5, just like this. Then on the nipple point, from the shoulder to the nipple point measurement is 9.5 inches, so that my 4 inches will still come straight to the nipple point, just like this. Then I'm going to curve it to meet the armhole. Alright, so that's the first cut, which is the princess dart. The next thing I'm going to maintain from here, remember this is our underbust line. This is our underbust line. So from here now, I'm going to measure 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches, and that is coming to the underbust measurement. And on the armhole here, I'm going to take 1 inch. 1 inch. Now to connect this is our underbust measurement. From the underbust measurement to the nipple point. From the underbust measurement to the nipple point is 3 inches, or you can as well measure from the shoulder to the nipple point. So this is my nipple point, that's 5 minus 5. The nipple point, like I said, is 9.5, or from the underbust, the nipple point is 3 inches. So this is my 3 inches, still on the same point. Now my 1.5 is coming all the way straight to the underbust. Then from the underbust, I'm bringing it to the nipple point. So I'm going to curve it out to the nipple point. Then from the nipple point back to my 1 inch measurement on the armhole, as you can see. So from here to this point is my princess dart, which I'm going to cut. Then I took 1.5 straight to the underbust. From the underbust, curve to the nipple point. Then from the nipple point back to my 1 inch. So I'm going to cut out the 2 lines. Right. So I'm going to use this to cut out the princess dart for the back. Remember, for the back we have our zipper allowance, so I've folded my 2 inches for the zipper allowance. That's for the back. All right, so for this now, I'm going to place this to cut out my wording. I'm going to cut out wording, then I'm going to cut out the lining as well for this. So before we get to that, the neck design for the front now, you can always have a neck design of your choice. Remember, the depth to your choice, your desired measurements for the neck design you want. So I'll maintain 7 inches as the depth. So this is my design. You can always go ahead to cut whatever design you want. So this is the design I want. Okay, so that's what I want, and I'm going to cut it out. It's more like a V shape. Let me show you. Yeah. Okay, so from here we can move on to cutting out the wording for this. This is the front. I'm going to cut out the wording and the lining for each of this piece. I'm going to do that. But for the back, first I'm going to join the princess darts. I'm going to do that in the sewing tutorial. I'll join the princess darts, then I'll use this to cut out the lining and also my interface, which is, you can use your BFF, your stay, your soft wording, or any interface of your choice. So let's move on. All right, so for the base of the blouse, it's going to be a kiss pleat, and to do that, I'm going to measure 1.5 yards of fabric. You can measure 2 yards. Yours can be 2.5 yards, depending on how full you want your pleats to go round your dress. So this is my 1.5 yards. That's 36 and 18 inches. The length that I'm going to cut, the full length of my blouse is 23 inches, and I've cut out 15 inches, which is the half length. So that means we have 8 inches left. 8 inches. So I need my seam allowance. I'm going to make this 9 inches, right? So I'm going to cut 9 inches. So you can just go ahead to cut that. So this is going to be at the base of my blouse. If you want a wider material, you can go ahead to measure to your desired measurement, 2 yards, 2.5 yards, 3 yards, depending on your choice. That's for the base of my blouse. So let's move on to the sleeve. The sleeve is going to be a bell sleeve. So cutting out the sleeve first. The length of my sleeve is, we have 12 and 17 inches. So I'm cutting out the 12 first. To cut out the sleeve, first we need to fold our fabric, and I'll be folding using the round sleeve measurement. Round sleeve divided by 2 plus 3 inches for folding, that is 8 inches. So I folded my 8. The first length 12 inches plus my seam allowance, I have 13 inches, and to bring down 4 inches for the armhole. Now the round shoulder measurement is 36 inches. You need to measure to get that. Just measure your round shoulder measurements. It's 36 inches. Now remember, on our blouse we cut out the shoulder divided by 2 is 6.5, then minus 1.5, we have 5, so that by the time we unfold the front we have 10, the back as well is 10, so that will give us 20 inches, and we have the round shoulder to be 36 inches. So 20 minus 36, we have 16 inches left. Now the two sleeves will share the 16 inches. That will be 8 inches on one sleeve, 8 inches on the other sleeve. And since our fabric is folded into two, to get 8 we need 4 inches. That's mathematics. All right, so we need 4 inches to get 8, and I'll add my seam allowance of half an inch, so that's 4.5 inches. So that from my 4.5 inches I'll take it down to the 4 inches, and then I'll come to the normal round sleeve measurements, which is 10 divided by 2 is 5, plus my seam allowance of 1, 6 inches. Now from my 4 I'll bring it down to the round sleeve measurements. All right, so I have the first sleeve, and I'll use this to cut the second sleeve. Now the base, which is the flare, can be any type of flare you decide to cut. It can be a single flare, it can be a double. You can go ahead with your full flare, that's a 360-degree flare, 720, any type of flare you want to cut. And you can as well change the sleeve if you want. You can go ahead to change the sleeve. You can just give it a nice design. And in case you don't know how to cut your flare, I have a tutorial on how to cut different types of flare, so you can go ahead to watch that. So we don't need to do the cutting here, since we have the tutorial on how to cut different types of flare. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the pleats now. So now this is the second step, which is also kiss pleats, and I have 2 yards, so you can just go ahead to measure your 2 yards, and the length is 5 inches. I'm going to double my fabric, so that's the second step. 5 inches plus my seam allowance, I have 6 inches. 6 inches. All right, so I'm going to double that for the pleat. This is going to be the second step, and the next thing we're going to cut is just a pleat design on the blouse. Okay, so for my pleats now, I'll be using a yard to make the front pleat. This is 1 yard, and the longer length is 12 inches plus my seam allowance 13, and the shorter part of my pleat, which is at the other end, is 4 inches plus my seam allowance, that is 5 inches. So I'm going to draw the slants from that point to the other end here. So you can just create something. In case you don't have what to use, just create. You can just go ahead. Alright, so that it will be easier for you to cut out the slants. So if this is your first time watching this channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell in order to get notification for our upcoming tutorials. Don't forget to click the like, don't forget to share, and leave your comments in the comment box below. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Africa TV. Follow me on Facebook and on Instagram at Kharis Kreations. Till I see you next class, stay cool.